It seemed like the end. But after the excommunication of the Society of St. Pius X, exactly the opposite happened. The first, the presences in the fraternity's chapels. The second, the words of an archbishop who broke his silence. And you know how much he weighs on this channel. His name is Carlo Maria Vigano. In this video, I bring you his message, word for word, because it's a fiery message, and I'll show you how, instead of emptying, traditionalist churches are filling up. Let's begin. Immediately after the excommunication decree of July 2nd, Archbishop Vigano took a public position, openly siding with the society and the 4 new bishops. Vigano says that the Society of St. Pius X does not need the permission of those who have renounced the faith to do what Providence asks of it, to perpetuate the episcopal line, faithful to tradition. And he adds a sentence that is at the heart of all his thought. True ecclesial communion is not measured by the canonical recognition granted by a hierarchy that has lost the faith, but by integral fidelity to divine revelation. It's worth reflecting on. Do you understand the significance of these words? Vigano is reversing the accusation. Rome says, "You are in schism because you are outside of communion." And he replies, "True communion isn't a bureaucratic stamp. It's remaining faithful to the doctrine of all time. And if the person excommunicating you has betrayed that doctrine, then the real schism lies on the other side." And indeed, in his message of support, addressed to the superior of the fraternity, Father Davide Pagliarani, and to the new bishops, Vigano uses even more explicit words. He speaks of a merciless decree and says that this decree reveals the schism underway between the Pope and the papacy itself. That is, between the man who sits on the throne and the institution he is supposed to embody. And then comes the accusation that inflames traditionalists worldwide. Vigano says that the conciliar and synodal church shows indulgence, if not open complicity, toward true schisms and abuses of all kinds, while reserving the stones for those who guard and transmit the faith. Because this phrase, "stones for those who keep the faith," isn't just rhetoric. Look around you. In the same weeks in which the fraternity is excommunicated, a Catholic bishop is crowned protector of the Buddha, another celebrates a rainbow Eucharist in the cathedral, and Rome reserves silence for them. Indeed, the Pope wrote warm and fraternal words to the first female Anglican archbishop, with whom he even prayed. For those who love tradition too much, excommunication. For almost everything else, understanding. This is precisely the double standard that Vigano denounces, and which millions of faithful perceive as an injustice. But Vigano isn't the only sign. Indeed, there's a second fact, even more eloquent than words, and it concerns you, the people. When John Paul II excommunicated the bishops consecrated by Lefebvre in 1988, it was expected that the society would die down, that the faithful would return to the fold. Today, the exact opposite is happening. Testimonies from various quarters tell the same story. On the Sunday after the excommunications, many of the fraternity's chapels were packed to capacity. Standing room only, people remained outside, and the faithful knelt in the street because no one was allowed inside. Pause on this image. Rome pronounces the harshest word in its vocabulary, excommunication, and the people's response is not flight. It is crowding, not an exodus, but an influx. It's a sign that excommunication, in the eyes of many faithful, hasn't convinced them. They perceive it as disproportionate, unjust, and instead of distancing them from the ancient Mass, it has pushed them to seek it even more. And here, we must grasp a difference with respect to Vigano, and it is a point of honesty that I want to make clear to you, even if briefly. Because while Vigano thunders, the society takes a different, more filial tone. In his letter to the Pope, Father Pagliarani neither insults nor rebels. He quotes the Gospel, "We asked for bread, and we received a stone, a fish and a serpent, an egg and a scorpion." But he promises, "We will not receive these sanctions with bitterness or revolt." And he closes by asking textually, "Bless us as your children." How can a movement that asks the Pope for his blessing be treated as an enemy? This is why so many people, even moderates, are disturbed. And here's the necessary clarification, which I owe you in fairness, because not all of the traditionalist front is united, and Vigano and the Society are not the same thing. The Society of St. Pius X has, in fact, publicly distanced itself from Vigano. The reason is clear. Vigano has gone so far as to maintain that the Pope is not Pope, a position known as sedevacantism. The Society firmly rejects this. It recognizes the Pope as Pope, prays for him at every Mass, and dissents from certain decisions without ever denying their legitimacy. Lefebvre himself forbade his priests to pursue this path. And it's a detail that, upon closer inspection, plays into the Society's hands, because it shows they aren't extremists who deny the Pope. They are Catholics who recognize the Pope, who ask for his blessing, and who ask only to preserve their perennial faith. And they are the ones who are being hit with the greatest severity. Let's keep the two voices separate. Vigano offers the Society fiery support, and his accusations against Rome hit home on the double standard. But the Society treads a narrower and more prudent path. Within the Church, under the Pope, not against him. Rome wanted to heal a wound, and perhaps opened a bigger one, because the results of these weeks are surprising. The chapels are filling up instead of emptying. The voices in favor of tradition, from Vigano to cardinals like Müller, are multiplying, and the fraternity, impressed, responds by asking for a blessing. Whatever one thinks of the Society or Vigano, one thing is undeniable. Tradition is not dead. Indeed, the more it is compressed, the more it seems to flourish. It is the ancient law of the martyrs. Blood, and sometimes even a perceived unjust condemnation, becomes seed. Because true communion, as Vigano rightly says on this point, is not a stamp. It is remaining attached to Christ and to the faith he gave to the apostles. And that faith today, once again, fills the churches. We will continue to follow every development with facts in hand and without extremism anywhere, because in turbulent times, the most precious thing is the truth, told with charity. What do you think? If you liked the video, comment Amen. God bless you.